Do you know the difference between a wet tan and a dry tan? You might be thinking, well, one of them's wet and one of them's dry. And yeah, that is true, but there's a lot more to it than that. This is a wet tan, and as you would imagine, it's wet. The skin and the hair are both still wet. When hides are tanned, the tanning process is a wet process. The hides get submerged in chemicals and all that, so they're gonna be wet. When we mount animals for taxidermy, all the hides are always wet. So wet tanning, basically you're just going to use that for taxidermy. And then you have dry tanning, and obviously the hides are dry. This is oftentimes called soft tanning or garment tanning. It's a soft, dry hide, something that you see like if you have a wall hanger or a hide that's thrown over your couch. Those are all dry tans. In a nutshell, a dry tan is just a wet tan that has been dried, but there is more to it than that. If you take a wet tan and just let it dry, it does not become a soft tan. It becomes a stiff cardboard-like tan. So in order to get a soft, pliable, dry tan, it has to go through kind of a separate tumbling process, breaking process, where the fibers of the skin are broken and softened down. You can use a dry tan for taxidermy. It doesn't have to be a wet tan, but in order to mount this animal first, you have to submerge it and get it wet, essentially turning it back into a wet tan. This is a really nice dry tan. As you can see, it's really nice, pliable leather on the back. And again, this is the dried wet tan, not turned into a dry tan. It's hard, it's stiff, can't really do much with that. For example, this coyote, it's a dry tan, but because it has all the lip skin intact, all the eye skin intact, this is a mountable pelt, and I will end up mounting this one as a regular taxidermy piece. There is some discussion back and forth, like should I get something wet tanned or dry tanned if I'm using it for taxidermy? There's pros and cons. Wet tans have to stay in the freezer. They can't be left out. So that's where they need to be stored until you're ready to mount them. Dry tans, they can just be left out. But rehydrating a dry tan, that can come with some risk. Sometimes it doesn't rehydrate very well and it can tear apart. Also, you might not get some of that stretch back. The skin, it holds memories after it's been tanned. So when it's dry, sometimes it can hold the memory of being dry and it's not stretchy, pliable as well as it would be if it stayed a wet tan. In my opinion, I hate mounting big animals like deer size or bigger using a dry tan. It never works out the same. I prefer getting everything wet tanned if I'm gonna mount it. That coyote was an exception because I just bought it like that, but small animals like that with thinner skin, those rehydrate better for taxidermy.